coming to you from thecraftsergeant.com. Hope you guys are having a beautiful day. It is actually snowing here in Virginia. I took a couple of photos. Man, it's been a long time since I've seen snow, and it was a beautiful sight today. So hopefully it keeps coming so I don't have to go to work. But anyways, so today I wanted to share with you a beautiful card that I created using one of our celebration stamp sets and coordinating dies, and I'm super excited. So this is the card. Y'all see how beautiful this is? I actually used the embossing technique with some gold embossing powder on it. Oh, I am in love with this card. Now I created this card because I have a swap that I'm a part of, and they're due by the 11th, so I gotta mail them out like super fast. But I was tasked to create 8 cards, and here they are. Aren't they beautiful? These things are gorgeous. So tasked to create 8 cards so I can send them out, and it's for our team meeting. Not my Operation Inker team meeting, but my upline Dina Rico with the Creativity Cave, and her team. Our team is called A Little Piece of Art Stampers. So every month we do a meeting, and we have the option to participate in a swap, and this is what my swap is going to be this time around. So let's set that to the side, and let me tell you what you need for this project. So first you're going to need the Amazing You stamp set. Look how gorgeous these images and these sentiments are on here. I really love this set. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of debating. I fell in love with the dies as soon as I saw them, but when I saw the stamp set I was like, it's kind of simple, you know, but as you start playing with it, I just fell in love. So hopefully you'll fall in love with this too. All right, so it's the Amazing You stamp set. It comes with 8 stamps. I did get the clear mount option, so of course you're going to need some kind of clear acrylic block for this. And it coordinates with the Celebrate You Thinlit dies, which you can see here. I can take them out of the packaging. See this? Look how pretty these are. Live them. All right. So set that to the side. Now, when we talk about the stamp set, you can find the stamp set and the coordinating dies in our brand new celebration little catalog, our brochure here. Now, if you need a physical copy of this, please make sure that you comment below in the comment section. Let me know that you want a physical copy, and I'll send one to you free of charge. And you can find this stamp set. There's a lot of cool stamp sets and stuff in here, but you can find this particular one that we're creating with today on page 16. It is, for those of you who are not aware, when we talk about celebration, anytime you spend $50 or more in my online store, you qualify to get free product, and this is the catalog that we pick out of. So I was able to spend $50. I ordered $50 worth of product, and I was able to redeem my level 1 reward for the Amazing You stamp set. And like it says here, you have this little starburst here. It says 40 or free with a $50 purchase. Spend $50 in my online store, and you can get this stamp set for free. Now the dies on this page, from my understanding, Stampin' Up! Has never had a $100 level when it comes to celebration, and they've never done dies. So this is a really cool opportunity for you to get some really cool dies. So these are the Celebrate You Thinlit dies, and in order for you to get these for free, you'll have to spend $100 in my online store. Now if you want to place a purchase today or at any time before March 31st, feel free to hop on over to my online store, and I will have that link down below in the description box, okay? But you gotta act fast, because these things, yeah, there's a time limit on these products. All right, all right. So now let's get into what else you're going to need for this card. So we're gonna start off with the cardstock. I used a 5.5 inch by 8.5 inch sheet of early espresso cardstock, and I scored it at 4 1/4 inches. I used a piece of Blushing Bride that measures at 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of Whisper White that are cut at 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. So one of these are going to be on the outside, and one's going to be on the inside of your card. Let's set that to the side. You're also going to need some ink. The ink that I use on this card is Early Espresso, just to go with the colors. What else did I use? Versamark. You're going to need some Versamark. You're going to need some gold embossing powder. And of course, you're going to need your heat tool for this project. Because I don't know if you noticed, but you can see a little bit of shimmer and a little bit of shine in there. That's embossing. I embossed the flowers on there. You're going to need some glue dots for the ribbon here. To accent, I used the copper trim. This can be found in our annual catalog. Like I said earlier, acrylic blocks, some fast fuse, and you're going to need a scrap piece of Early Espresso. And what I did to make it easy on myself, instead of cutting out, and I already pre-cut this out already, instead of cutting this out and having to like glue and make a mess, because I am a messy crafter, I decided to use the multi-purpose adhesive sheets, and this is what they look like. They come in a pack, and it's basically double-sided adhesive. And what's cool about this is all I did was I took my scrap piece of Early Espresso, flipped it over, applied the sheet over it, put my die on top, ran it through the Big Shot, cut it out, and then what's cool, what it does is it creates a sticker. So all I have to do is just pull this white backing off and stick this to my project, mess free. Alright, so, and I think that's about it that you're going to need. So let's go ahead and start creating our card. So I am going to start off by first assembling part of my card. Just get that out of the way. So you're going to fold the piece of Early Espresso. We're going to burnish that edge with our bone folder. Making sure it's nice and crisp and creased. Then we're going to take some fast fuse. I love fast fuse. You can use any kind of adhesive that you want, but I have, now that I know how to use it, I've fallen in love with fast fuse. We're going to apply a little bit around the edges of our card, or excuse me, of our Blushing Bride sheet of cardstock, and we're going to center this on our card base. There you go, and apply it on. Alright, so let's set this to the side, and, oh, well, before we do that, let's go ahead and do this part. We're going to attach our piece of Whisper White into the inside of our card. We're going to actually stamp an image on that, but that's going to be like the last step. All right, let's set this to the side, and let us go ahead and begin our stamping. So you're going to take your Versamark, and we're going to stamp 5 flowers just randomly around the card. So I start off with the one in the center. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I started off with the one in the center, just to kind of give me a guide point. There's like no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. I'm just stamping on here with my Versamark ink. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Versamark stamps clear, but it takes a little longer for it to dry because we're going to apply our embossing powder to it. So I'm going to stamp the rest of my flowers on, just kind of rotating the image around so it's not all going in the same direction. I'm stamping 1 flower in each corner. Just being careful not to touch the one in the center. It can be a little challenging to see probably on camera. But we're gonna make it work. All right, there we go. Let's set that to the side. Close up our Versamark. And now we're going to take our gold embossing powder. I always make a mess. That's why I'm trying to be careful. Now, probably what I should have done before I started stamping on here was use my little embossing buddy. Hold on, let me see if I can get it. This is what it looks like. So you use this and it doesn't allow random specks of embossing powder to go on your project. But I did those 8 cards without using it, so I feel like I'll be okay. But sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry. But for this one, I think I'll be fine. So we're just going to sprinkle our embossing powder all over our images. Being really, really careful. Like I told you guys, I'm pretty messy when it comes to stuff like this. I was doing one of my cupcake cards for my online class, and when I was doing the video, I messed around and had glitter all over the place. It was in it was on my stamps. It was on my Stampin' scrub. When I was cleaning my stamps, I got it all over the place because I had tapped the container a little too hard when I was trying to move it and sit it down. Alright, so there we go. Y'all see that? Look how pretty that is. There is a random spot there. So what I do for random spots, if I would have used my embossing buddy, that probably would have never even happened. But I go through with I take a little paintbrush, and I kind of like dust off the excess that I don't need if I see it on here. But for the most part, this looks really, really good. Yeah. Alright, so let's go ahead, put that to the side, close up our powder for Tara makes a great big mess, and then I'll be sad. And now we're going to take our heat tool and we're going to emboss it. So let's see. So I don't have a Stampin' Up heat tool. I'm waiting for this one to go out. But we sell one as well. So what I'm doing is I'm waiting for the heat tool to warm up a little bit. You want to make sure that you're being careful because this the tip right here gets really, really hot. So if you've never embossed before, the thing you don't want to do is you don't want to try to use a blow dryer because it's not hot enough. So this will actually burn you if you get too close. So you have to be very, very careful not to get your fingers in the way, and to be careful not to scorch your paper. So once it's hot, you're going to start to apply the heat. Now depending on your cardstock, it might start to curl a little bit, so you want to kind of like give it a rest, let it cool off a little bit, and then come back in. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's starting to melt the powder. And how you know it's done is it'll start turning shiny. You see that? There's a shine to it. Almost on finished. When you're flipping your project around, you want to be careful not to touch the powder, mess up your image. I speak from experience. And we're just going around making sure all of our image on each one of these flowers is gold and shiny. Alright, I think that's good enough. Let's set that to the side. Alright, so here we have our embossed background with those flowers. Y'all see that? That's really beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead at this point. You're going to take your die cut, and as I mentioned earlier when we talk about putting that adhesive on the back, you want to make sure that you run it through your Big Shot. And then we're going to take this backing off, being mindful not to be too rough with it because we don't want to rip our letters. And then we're going to apply this like midway. See how easy that is? I love the multi-purpose adhesive sheets. That's really cool. Because you can really get in, like, you don't necessarily have to get into those little nooks and crannies with like your fine tip glue. Like, it's automatically done for you. All right, so now we're going to take our early espresso. And where's my little U? And we're going to take the sentiment U, the Y-O-U. We're going to stamp it, ink up our stamp. It's kind of not even. Thought it was even. There we go. Ink it up. And we're going to place the U like right underneath this flower, but between the Z and the G. As you see in this one. You see how it's centered in there? So we're going to carefully stamp. Boom. There we go. Perfect. All right, so we're almost done. We're going to now take our copper trim. And what I like to do is I flip my project over. We're going to put it on this side. So when we turn it over, we're going to put a little bit of fast fuse or put a little bit of Snell adhesive. Just a little bit, a few strips on there. And then I'm going to take the end of my copper trim and I'm going to press it on top of one of the strips that I put on the card. Wrap it around. There you go. And then I'm going to stick that other end on the top strip. You don't necessarily have to do it in that order, but you can. All right, and then we're going to snip this off like this. You want to make sure that it's not too tight where it's curling your paper. That looks about right. All right, so now I'm going to do what's dreaded by a lot of crafters and people who paper craft. I'm going to tie a bow. So I'm going to make 2 bunny ears. Oh, see, I still get a little bow challenged. All right, 2 bunny ears, and then I'm going to wrap them around and put that loop, one of the bunny ears, inside of the little loop there. There we go. You can tie your bows or you can have somebody else tie them for you. It takes practice though. All right. There we go. That looks about right. So this copper trim, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I'm going to show you in a minute what it does. But this copper trim is really neat because you can spread it out. It comes apart like this. Y'all see that? Isn't that cool? It fans out. Or you can squish it back together. So you do want to be mindful when you're tying your bow, because I have squished a couple of the bows, some of those loops together. I kind of gotta fan it out a little bit. All right, so now we're going to take a glue dot and put it on the bottom side of our bow, and we're going to attach the bow to the piece of copper trim that we wrapped around, like this. Now we're going to add a little bit more fast fuse on the back of this card, and we're going to attach it to our card base. Line it up. There we go. And now we're going to do one more thing, and then we'll consider our card finished. So there's a little sunshine image in here. I am going to take that and my early espresso ink, and I am going to stamp that down here in the bottom. Let me show you. Oh, did I already close it? Oh, I already closed these up. See, they're already packaged for shipment. So we're gonna stamp this up. I'll just show you what I'm doing. We're just gonna come down here in this lower right corner Stamp that little bit of rays of sunshine there. And we're done. Here you go. A pretty card using the Amazing You stamp set and the coordinating Celebrate You Thinlit dies. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can find more details regarding this project on my blog, thecraftsergeant.com. You'll find the link down in the description box below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date on all things Stampin' Up. Thanks for watching, and happy stamping!